There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the stare down and a few words exchanged.
I haven't seen.
You gonna see Saturday,
bro?
Saturday
even
night.
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you throwing?
Hey, you know what?
Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. The intense stare down, followed by a few exchanged words. Gervonta Davis shocked everyone by slapping Lamont Roach. During a heated face-off, the confrontation escalated instantly as Davis boldly declared he's going to break Roach in their upcoming fight. The energy was volatile and electrifying, with both fighters refusing to back down. This fiery exchange has only intensified their rivalry and set the stage for what could be one of the most aggressive and personal clashes of the year. Gervonta Davis has entered a new mental and physical space of discipline, guided once again by his trusted coach Calvin Ford. He's sharpening his tools with silent focus, but this time the dynamic has shifted, unlike previous camps where Washington, D.C. affiliates played a notable role. This camp is more tightly controlled and intensely private. There are fewer external influences, and the flow of information is tightly sealed. No chance of strategic leaks. The first fight was clouded by rumors suggesting Roach had insider knowledge of Davis's plan. That's no longer a concern. The distractions are gone, and the energy is fully locked into precision and purpose. With Ford in his corner and revenge on his mind, Davis is preparing for a bout that carries higher stakes than ever before.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy, because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no. Sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I can see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has already achieved major commercial success, with 150,000 pay-per-view units sold well before fight night. This level of anticipation speaks volumes about the importance of their rivalry and the public's desire for closure. Fans still remember the tension and unpredictability of the first encounter. Now they're eager to see whether Davis can reclaim control, if Roach will once again rise to the moment. The numbers confirm what analysts predicted. This isn't just a rematch, it's a marquee event. Both fighters have transcended the role of mere contenders. They've become defining figures in boxing's evolving narrative.
Tank out here selling under 150,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, Face of Boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down. every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else, especially in Saudi. I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for what, 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, that Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments. No, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. It didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top... Well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Well. He's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol better BF just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching them, and Bivol and better BF do. Tank.
Rather than discarding their original game plan, Davis's team has taken a more calculated path adjustment over overhaul, reviewing footage from the first fight highlighted to key issues, mistimed execution, and dips in mid-round confidence with. This insight, the team has fine-tuned specific elements like attack angles and spatial control. Their focus now is on closing the gaps that allowed Roach to score. This isn't about reinventing Davis, it's about perfecting him. They've replaced moments of hesitation with calculated aggression, the result. A fighter whose base remains intact, but whose delivery is now sharper, more precise, and far more dangerous.
He got a good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead, let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? You got a fighter that listen, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him. You know, all fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter is not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of it. It's other shit too, you know? I believe in hurting them. You gotta hurt them to get it started, you know?
PD, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, that they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
What many interpreted as a knockdown in their first fight may not truly reflect Davis's vulnerability. New reports suggest the fall was actually caused by an external irritation, possibly a grooming product, that impaired Davis's vision mid-fight. If accurate, this changes the narrative. What appeared to be a weakness in endurance or defense may have simply been an unfortunate and avoidable distraction for Davis's supporters. This reinforces their belief in his skill and resilience. It also intensifies the urgency in his camp, making sure that no detail, no matter how minor, interferes with performance in a high-stakes battle.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped, because One thing I will say, well, Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much, you was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up, because you gotta think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that...
Former world champion Mikey Garcia recently weighed in with a thoughtful analysis of Davis's chances in the rematch. While he praised Davis's natural talent and adaptability, Garcia issued a strong warning: technical skill alone won't win. This fight, in his view, the real challenge will be mental discipline. Davis must shut out distractions, public scrutiny, personal issues, and pressure. Garcia believes Davis has all the tools needed for victory, but only if his mind is fully aligned. With his body, this rematch isn't just about strategy, it's a complete test of psychological endurance and unwavering focus.
A lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch looks like it's gonna happen, hopefully. I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments, and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, you know. And maybe they get a third fight, you know, after that. Who knows?
Maybe it turns the market back out.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you know, you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
Following the first fight, social media was flooded with speculation that Davis might be stepping away from the sport. But instead of retreating, Davis delivered a powerful response, by immediately returning to camp. He didn't let the narrative shape him, he shaped it through action. His decision to schedule a rematch so quickly spoke volumes about his mindset. He's not hiding from the past, he's confronting it head-on. This mentality has flipped the script. Davis isn't fading into doubthies, reclaiming control of the story, driven by determination and intent.
I want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit, both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's going to do a rematch, you need to be there on, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not going to lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. At least I'm giving him those day props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight, and I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. I'm not gonna lie, like, so I just feel like the rematch should happen, because you never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch, because I don't think this is ever gonna be a dispute that is settled and, you know, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we gotta see.
Boxing veteran and respected commentator Teddy Atlas offered a more nuanced breakdown of Davis's strengths. While many focus on his raw power and highlight reel finish, Atlas emphasized the subtler but equally vital traits: Davis's control of distance, his rhythmic timing, and his composure under pressure. According to Atlas, what truly sets Davis apart is how he thinks inside the ring. He doesn't rush, he doesn't panic. Even when under fire, he remains poised, delivering calculated, surgical responses, these mental attributes make Davis not just powerful, but strategically lethal in the fight's most critical moments.
Try to get to us, but we're going to frustrate him. He doesn't get frustrated. He takes his time. He's deliberate. You know, a lot of times at the beginning, people thought he was just a seek and destroy missile. They thought he was just a guy that got to you. And they thought that he would get over anxious. He don't get over anxious. He takes his time. He slowly closes those gaps. You know, inch by inch, step by step. And then he gets...
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith also joined the conversation, focusing on a crucial physical mismatch between the two fighters. While Roach boasts impressive technique and boxing IQ, Smith argues that Davis's physical presence, his strength, reach, and body control could be overwhelming if the fight gets gritty and turns into close quarters combat. Davis's physical dominance might neutralize Roach's finesse. Smith's analysis suggests that sometimes fights are decided not by precision alone, but by pressure, force, and the ability to control the physical terrain.
And lastly, Stephen, a last name I, of course, want to throw your way is Gervonta Davis. I know you believe in his skills.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What do you think of his fight with Roach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think Roach is too small.
Uh-huh.
I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that. But it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, "Ooh, you know, making this up. He hurt me in sparring," and you know, and I knew Gervonta was gonna come for him, and sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on. But you know, I remember what he said, and it really, really struck me. Gervonta's a smart dude, bro, and he said you really should have waited. You don't have enough experience. You really should have waited and took your time before you came to me. And that's what Gervonta Davis told him. And he was right.
In this training camp, Davis is fighting with a chip on his shoulder. This rematch means more than redemption. It's a battle to reestablish his place in the sport. Every criticism, every doubt has become fuel. He's doubled down on strength, speed, and stamina. Each workout and sparring session is approached with relentless focus. His mission isn't just to win, it's to dominate, to prove that the slip in the first fight was an outlier, not evidence of decline. Davis is training like a man, with a point to prove, and that makes him more dangerous than ever before.
Got to step back from the situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning, like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he's just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this before.
To elevate his preparation further, Davis has brought in Kenny Ellis, a trainer known for his structured approach and sharp tactical mind. With Ellis, there's no room for complacency. Every drill is precise, every mistake corrected on the spot. His training sessions are intense and designed to expose weaknesses before opponents can exploit them. Under Ellis's direction, Davis is refining every detail: footwork, guard transitions, and counter timing. This isn't just physical conditioning, it's strategic engineering. And with Ellis in his corner, come fight night, Davis will have not just support but real-time tactical command from one of the sport's sharpest minds.
The best trainers in boxing, second guy in the corner, is responsible for a lot of the real tactical decisions and tactical analysis that goes on in Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents. So to have him talk about what's going on with Lamont Roach, I thought was interesting and insightful, because what he said was that, one, he's not falling for the okie doke. When Mill City asked him, hey, what do you think about the fact that, that Lamont Roach was seen at a basketball game chugging a beer? And I would have added to the question that you see Lamont Roach out giving a bunch of interviews, doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp, a lot of